So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk with Darius. Please remember to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share this video if you enjoy this content. I appreciate it. We're about to talk about what Obama said to the black men. Now, I know this for sure. If a white man had said this, it'd be blasted all over the scene, okay? All over the news headlines, all over the news channels and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see that people have taken this seriously and is treating Obama with treating this news story the way they should be treating it. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles, and
let's stop right there. Number one, she didn't grow up like me. She don't know nothing about me. All blacks cannot identify with certain life experiences. That's an assumption. Now, of course, is racism a reality? Yes. Now, some people can argue with statistics and data that you can actually measure, looking into a computer or something like that, to say, okay, well, no, you can't quantify it, or you can quantify this or that, okay? Are there just areas, places, are there scenarios, are there real situations? Yes. Where prejudices do occur? Of course there are. I've experienced it in my own personal life, in my career, a few times. So I know it's a real deal. I would never say it's not. I just don't believe it's as bad or as rampant as it used to be, like in the 60s and 70s and so on. But things do happen. However, all situations aren't exactly the same. So let's not act like Kamala Harris, because that's who he's talking about, can actually identify with each and every black person.
And pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
Oh, let me address this one particular part too. Obama comes out saying the brothers, he wants to address the brothers. First of all, how often do you hear him address the brothers? Has he come out to address the brothers who are going through our black neighborhoods, shooting up the place, shooting up the neighborhoods, shooting each other? I mean, I've seen plenty of videos. He supposedly is from Chicago, right? So I've seen plenty of videos. I have never heard, I didn't say he hasn't said, I have never heard nor heard it publicized. I have not heard him come and address the people, the gangs in those neighborhoods, or the black and brown people in those neighborhoods, to address the black on black crime. I've never heard him talk about that. The children who were being slaughtered while they're playing in their parents in the front yard or sleeping in their own beds. I don't hear him addressing those issues. You know, abortion is one of the biggest issues in this country. The Democrats use that as a big platform to talk about that all the time, as if everybody in the country cares to, you know, I'll be careful right now, cares about that issue in the way they are promoting it. And yet you do know quite a number of black babies have been been aborted. Okay, that's some other words I'm going to use, but have been aborted. I have never heard him talk bad about that either, or address that issue. And yet he want to talk to the brothers, because what he's about to get through. The point he's about to make is he doesn't like the fact, and this is my word, this is what I extrapolate from what he said, and you hear it in a moment, that he doesn't like the fact that we're thinking for ourselves. We're not thinking. We don't have the hive mentality, or at least don't have it anymore. We're actually making decisions based on our own observations, based on our experiences, listening to people we can count on and trust. So I don't want to get too far ahead, but my point is this: where is he? Has he begun to the prisons and addressed those brothers there and talking and encouraging them on how they should behave, how they should think, so that they don't end up back into the system that he's so opposed to? I've never heard him give any speeches on those matters.
He's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land, and is putting forward concrete proposals.
Yes, I heard, I think the night her and Trump debated, she finally put something up on some website. She said it was 90 pages, I believe it was, of, I guess, policy or campaign promises. Okay. Concrete. Now, she's been in office. Kamala Harris has been in office for nearly 4 years. Yes, she served as VP. Okay. Her power is limited. However, she's supposed to be effective in her role. And her biggest issue to date, that, or at least one of them, is the border issue. She's supposed to be in the border czar, and her and the media decided to scrape that off the records.
Directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine.
Now, everything Obama is saying, he's trying to tout her as being basically a heroine or a hero. Just for video's sake, I say it that way. Touting her as to be this hero, talking about she's implementing these policies. Now, if you listen to some of the things she say, she doesn't agree. She may not agree with, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, she may not agree with all of Joe Biden's policies, but her excuse is she's not the president. And yet Obama's touting her as if she's been making some very big moves in the African American community. I doubt that.
And making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got help here, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side,
now, there is entrepreneurship going on in our neighborhoods. The problem is it's not as big and bold and great as it could be. You know, drug dealers are entrepreneurs. I don't hear him addressing them. You have nice barbershops, but there are other things, industries we could really be having. Like if you do just a little study on Black Wall Street, they had tremendous industry going on during those times. We ain't doing nothing like that, at least not on a large scale. The question is why. Now, of course, yes, you can blame and say, yes, it's all racism. I don't believe it totally is that, because I was not raised with a victim mentality, okay? So, excuse me if I don't feel that type of pain, that I feel like the man has got his foot on my neck and holding me down. Ain't nobody got their foot on my neck. But based on what he's saying, he's making it sound like she has done a tremendous service to the African American community, or to any community at that. I don't see it. Because if they have that proof, how come they don't show it? How come they don't tout it? How come we don't see the numbers and we don't see any video footage touting these claims he's making? Is it because it doesn't exist?
You have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person.
Now he's talking about Donald Trump, okay? He's saying Donald Trump has disrespected black folks. Now, if you go back and just, unless these platforms have scrubbed them from their systems, before Trump announced he was running, he was one of the most popular white men in a black community. Everybody wanted to be like him. Everybody wanted to be rich like him. Everybody wanted to hang around him and have Donald Trump in a music video, have Donald Trump do a cameo in a movie. People see him on the street, shake his hand. People love The Apprentice. You're fired. I mean, you can go down the line. Oprah Winfrey used to like him. He was on some very popular shows in the past. You know, he had a successful TV show that lasted for 15 years with The Apprentice. I mean, Donald Trump, people love being associated with the name of Donald Trump because he represented excellence and wealth and power, prestige. Now, all of a sudden, he's enemy number one. Why is that? Think. Oh, one more thing. If Donald Trump is such a racist, where's the proof? We have a lot of hearsay, but I can show you proof of Joe Biden. There's video footage still in existence. As recent as, 2020, when he told Charlemagne, he calls himself a god of the Breakfast Club. Charlemagne of the Breakfast Club, you can check it out. Where he tells Charlemagne, you ain't black if you do not vote for me. Now, he said that. Now, if Trump had said something like that, I would have a problem with it. I certainly would, because I'm going to call right and wrong. Joe Biden, Kamala's been running this country with Joe Biden. How come they're not tired on any of their successes? Where's the evidence of their successes? Where's the evidence of her success?
And you're thinking about sitting out?
Oh, here it is, y'all. Here we go. And somebody gonna respond and say, I ain't thinking about sitting out with her, whatever the case may be. See, Obama's not talking to people who are actually on the other side of the fence. That's what I gather from this little meeting here. He's not talking about anybody he's trying to win over, per se, to vote for Kamala. I will say this. I've already thought about what I was going to do. You don't who you think you're talking to, Obama? Yes, I'm a thinker. Aren't you a thinker? You thought about running and you ran. You think about doing a lot of things in your life. Is it wrong for me to think about my well-being, about my values, and making those making my voting decisions based on my values? And if I don't think somebody who supposedly looks like me fits the description or meets certain qualifications, I can take my vote elsewhere to somebody else I think does align more so with my values. So you telling me not to think? Who do you think you are?
But, because Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses.
You hear that? He's saying you coming up with, you thinking, because you're thinking outside of the box and making certain observations, you're making excuses as to why not to vote for Kamala. Ooh, and he's about to say something else that's just garbage. It's straight garbage, y'all. I'm finna go and get to it. I'm trying not to interrupt, but he's dropping too many negative nuggets. Yes, they're nuggets, but negative nuggets. This man is over here acting like it's a crime for you as black men to think for yourself. Any man at that, because he's going to say some other stuff. But right now, black men, he make it sound as if the decision should be just flat out clear that we should vote for her because she looks like us and can identify with us, even though she doesn't have near the success record he seems to tout. I mean, why do they need him to support her or to speak on her behalf? If she's doing such a great and wonderful job in and of herself, shouldn't she be able to speak for herself largely? I mean, she's been hiding from the media for quite a while. Now, as it gets down to the wire, now she's doing a few more interviews. By the way, y'all should check out that interview she did on Fox. I was actually pleasantly surprised that Brett Baier of Fox News actually asked her some challenging questions. That was a very good interview. I'm going to have to give him his props because I thought he was going to throw some softballs at her. But anyway, I digress.
I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well,
here we go.
You just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
Now, first of all, I don't give a care what you got a problem with. I didn't vote for you the first time. I didn't vote for you the second time because I had a problem with your campaign promises. They went against my values, Obama. Yes, was I excited at the possibility, at the probability that someone on the outside looking like me could gain and earn the highest seat of power in the land? Sure, it was encouraging because that means we could reach higher heights. I get that. But I didn't get caught up or swept up by the fact that just because someone looks like me, that I didn't take it for granted that we was going to hold the same values. And see, that's the problem. Black people need to stop just running, saying we support one another because we look alike. That doesn't guarantee that we think alike, that we feel alike, that we experience life alike or react alike or respond alike. We're all thinkers, should be thinking for ourselves, because the very person you put all your clout behind or you say you support fully can be the same person that turns out to be an enemy. So I thought well before when Obama was running, and I'm doing the same thing with Trump. I'm doing the same thing with Kamala. I'm doing the same thing with Bush. When I first came out, Bush Jr., when I started getting involved in politics and learning about voting and all those type of things, I have been taught to think for myself and to make decisions based on my core values. Obama didn't meet that standard. Trump met most of those standards. That's why I voted for him twice. And got to be a third time. And now you want to tell me you feel some way about it because I don't see what you see. Keep this in mind, people. 2 weeks before Kamala was put in place of Joe Biden, the media was tearing her apart. They didn't think she was qualified. And then all of a sudden they do a makeover. They slide her in place of Joe. The same people who told us Joe was running circles around his staff and that he was one of the most intelligent people. He was this and he was that. They was touting his successes, or the exact same people telling us the same thing about Kamala, the same person 3 months ago, give or take. They was trying to have her removed. This is a game, y'all.
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He just called us sexist. Not only are we incapable of thinking for ourselves about our voting decisions, now he's calling us sexist. Are y'all gonna take that? I know a lot of black men haven't. I've heard some of the comments, and none of them have been good in Obama's favor. You telling me I can't think for myself and I'm a sexist? I have black women in my life. Everybody does not agree on everything 100% of the time. Does that make us enemies? Does that make us friends? No, it just makes us people. So Kamala could have 2 things that I like out of 10. But that 8 matters a whole lot more than that 2. I'm just using that as an example. Obama should be ashamed of himself.
And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
Let me say this. Not only did Obama insult the black men, telling us we can't think for ourselves or we shouldn't. Not only did he just call us sexist, But he also threw shade at anybody in our lives who have encouraged our decision making, gave us food for thought, maybe answers a few questions. Maybe you bounced the idea of who to vote for off of someone you know, your father, your mother, your spouse, your friend, your mentor, whoever that is, your pastor. He just threw shade at all of them as well. See, this foolishness of his comments grew from talking about you as an individual, black man, to anybody else. So you know who else he was talking to? Black, brown, white, light skin, mixed, red, whatever your color, whatever you identify as. He put everybody in the same bowl, so to speak, on the same circle, and said, anybody who's speaking against voting for Kamala, all y'all have a thinking problem, and you're sexist. And I'm sure he threw this. This will be a part of it. Some of you are racist, because he just expanded on what he said. Dangerous territory, people.
They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting.
So in other words, he's going to guilt you into voting for someone. Hey, then he puts all the black women together, because that's what he just did. Put all the women together and said, no matter what you've been through, the black women have been there for you. And even if they do something against your will, or in this case, Kamala, do something against your core set of values, you should still have their back no matter what. No matter what. I do not expect my loved ones, or my friends, to have my back no matter what. I'm talking about loving me as a person? Yes. Don't throw me away to the wolves if I do something stupid and I do some things that are unseemly or that goes against my character, goes against what I was brought up to believe and all that. But I don't expect my loved ones or my friends to agree with all of my decisions. I expect to be called out on the carpet, and I will be. I have been and I will be if I do something like that. So don't try to guilt me into something, Obama. Stop it. He's continually digging himself a hole.
And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody?
Who does he think he is?
Has a history of denigrating you?
Show me the history. I don't want to hear you talk about it. Show it to me.
Because you think that's a sign of strength? Because that's what being a man is? Putting women down?
Man, so ladies, he's throwing shade at y'all too. I mean, he's already been throwing shade at all of us, but in this clip, he's telling you ladies, if you vote for Donald Trump, that's one of the dumbest decisions you can make, because he's put down basically all women, according to Obama, because that statement right there you can extrapolate that he's talking about Trump has a habit of putting, yes, Trump has said some things about some women, but go and look at the context and see, was he telling the truth or was he lying? Yes, you can say he said grab them by this and that. How many men do you know have said something they shouldn't have said about a woman? How many women do you know who said some things about a man they shouldn't have said? Is it true? Was it true? So again, I'm not making excuses for anybody's failures, but I'm not going to sit here and manufacture a success that ain't there. I'm just not going to manufacture something that's not there.
That's not acceptable.
But who are you, Obama? I'm exercising my First Amendment right, freedom of speech, freedom to say what I want to say, freedom to vote for who I want to vote for. You telling me it's unacceptable? What does it mean it's unacceptable? What is that supposed to mean?
That's not it. This shouldn't even be a question.
Why shouldn't it be a question?
New Lego Star Wars sets. Save the galaxy. Or...
Why shouldn't it be acceptable? I think the video is over now. But why should it be acceptable, Obama? Because you disapprove of it? Because it doesn't go with the narrative? See, these are the questions people need to ask questions. And I know people have been asking questions. Okay, he's been getting lambasted. But it also goes to show you how they think. The elitists, the globalists. They think you are supposed to go with what you've been going with. As far as black people are concerned, you should continue to go with the narrative you've been being fed for decades at minimum. And when you start thinking for yourself, you are a threat. Now you're an enemy. You were an enemy before, but now you are really an enemy. Now you put a target on your back because you have made a decision not to go along, to get along. Men, I applaud those of you who've stood up and you've spoken out against what Obama has said, because I don't care what position any man or woman holds, they do not have the right to denigrate or disrespect you, especially when it comes to making sound decisions, because every decision is not sound. Ladies, I hope you're encouraging your men to use sound judgment. The men in your life to use sound judgment in their decision making. And of course, in this situation, we're talking about voting, because our decisions do matter. Our lives will be impacted. No matter who you vote for, your life will be impacted. Your children's lives will be impacted. So choose wisely. Pray for your leadership. Kamala, Trump, Obama, the government, pray for them. Praying for them does not mean you have to agree with everything they say or do. That's why we need to pray for them, for those of you who believe in that. But I found it very disrespectful and distasteful for Obama to say the things he said. I'm glad they're saying the quiet parts out loud, because to me, this tells me how they talk behind closed doors. Let me know what you think in the comment. And if you think this content, this video, has made a positive impact in your life, and you think someone else needs to hear it, please feel free to share. Also, like, comment, set your notifications. I'll see you on the next one.